This is Jeff Vernon here, fellas. This is I'm excited for this one.
And ladies, hopefully.
This guy's plenty of ladies, yes.
Fellas
yes.
and ladies. And,
Yeah.
and whoever else is out there.
So recording engineer, mixing engineer, leader of Convince the Kid, and also mastering engineer, right?
Yeah, I do audio work. I would say Trevor and I are co-leaders at the moment. Okay. Although it's really more his band than it ever was mine. I'm still the new guy.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And then I paint. I write poems, and I own a video production company called Neon RV Productions.
Huh.
And I'm working on an app. And I like to travel and camp.
On an app?
Yeah, a web app.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Are you a software developer?
I do all kinds of stuff. I'm not on the back end. I'm not a techie. I have a specialist for that, but I have an idea. That's why I picked up this book.
Yeah, that's what I do. I do software development.
No way.
Web app, yeah.
Is that like your main?
That's how I make money.
That's how he makes money. Yeah. That's how I fell into audio engineering, was to make money. And there's some.
Yeah, there's a good amount.
Yeah.
I mean, all the guys I've ever paid before were like $60 an hour, so that's pretty, you know.
Wow. Oh yeah, I mean
it's kind of low, huh?
Well, no, that's good. No, that's high. I mean, I don't charge people that much.
Okay.
I think I'm at like 30 an hour.
Well, you're a good friend.
Well, that's the thing is like, you know, I know how it is. But the kind of, you know, artists and people on their journey, when they come to me, they're usually pretty new. I usually find myself recording people like that have never done it before or are new to it or whatever. And
this cup.
Oh, yes. The chalice.
Cool. Yeah, dude.
The golden trimmed chalice. Where'd you get that?
Thanks, Grandma.
Cheers to Grandma.
I think this cup might be a bit dirty, but I don't really care. It's only been alcohol.
Cheers.
Cheers, Jeffrey.
Alcohol sterilizes it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good little tool for podcasting right there.
Yeah, this stuff.
Alcohol.
Yeah, it lubes everybody up. For sure, bruh.
Yeah.
I don't really like that verb, but.
But yeah, I very early realized when I was like recording songs and writing songs, or I guess writing songs and then trying to record them, I realized the power that was there and like how much that really controls how you sound. And so I realized I was like, I have to learn this because I'm never going to want to pay somebody else to do it and feel like I'm not in control of it.
Yeah. You should make sure this is going.
Sure.
There's a little like low level anxiety, you know, when you can't see the red of the square.
Beep, beep.
Yeah. So you decided to get into it because you didn't want to have to pay somebody to do it.
Right. Well, I got into it because I had the instruments and I had ideas and I had songs and I wanted to put them together. Woo! Ah!
Oh, dude, we're good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this painting over here.
Sure. Is that yours?
Yeah.
Watercolor?
Oh, yeah. It's oil.
Looks like that's cool, man. It looks like watercolor as well, kind of. I don't know if you used water.
We used water too, yeah.
Sure.
We used a straw. We like put oil. Like here, maybe I can.
Yeah, so people can see.
Yeah. So we put like a drop of oil here and kind of like brought it up like this because I was like, I want it to look like Gold Rush kind of. So
sure.
we kind of brought it up like this. And then we got a straw and blew it, kind of like angle it, you know, in specific ways and stuff. So
yeah,
yeah, man. I like it. It makes me feel really good looking at it. So
Good. When'd you do it?
2020.
Yeah, I think
December?
like a lot of us had some free time around then.
Yeah, for sure. Second.
Your nails are a little
I know.
bent downward, but I think it'll hold.
Yeah.
My gut's telling me.
Yeah, my gut's telling me to go down this avenue. This avenue.
Yeah, I mean, like I say that I'm a painter, but like I don't do it like professionally or anything. It's just like, you know, when music has become like your profession, sometimes it's nice to have other creative outlets.
Yeah.
That like you don't have any expectation of whatsoever.
True that, dude.
Yeah.
True that. There's a lot of pressure sometimes that comes with, you know, music, making money with music kind of deal.
Yeah. But I mean, not really. It more, it's like the pressure of like, I need money. Do I need to like take on something else that isn't directly related to like my long-term goals, or isn't, you know, immediately fulfilling in the way like that music is? Because like I've gotten jobs at like, you know, local restaurants who like the owners, I believe in who they are and what they're doing or something like that. And like that's good and that's like honorable work. But for me, it's like anytime I've ever tried to do something that wasn't directly with music, it just doesn't resonate.
Doesn't resonate with you?
Sure.
Huh.
Not as much, at least. I mean, it's almost like it's a waste of time. It's like, because anytime where it's like, you know, like I'm recording a band and I'm like, you know, my ears hurt from a late night gig or something like that. And it's like, how long do I want to be doing this? And you get those thoughts and then you go and try something else and you're like, wait,
yeah,
this isn't music though.
Yeah.
You know,
that's so true. The difference between something else that you choose to do for a little bit of time versus music. There's the race in your life of fulfillment, just the finish line of fulfillment. It's like music surpasses everything else. You know, it's always faster than everything else.
Yeah, so far for me, I mean, that's where I feel most myself,
Yeah.
when I'm playing or when I'm producing.
Yeah. There was I'll share this short story, but
Please, man.
there was a point when I played this gig this weekend at Sauce House.
You sounded great, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Thanks. And Jeff was there too, supporting. Good man. So I'm wearing this watch now that tracks my heart rate, so I can like see how much energy output I'm putting in a scenario that's, you know, where I'm not being mindful, kind of.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
like it can show me like my stress level in certain situations.
Right.
So I looked at about 5:30. There was like the rest sort of like stress level was going on, and 5:30 was an hour and a half into the set. You know, 30 minutes before stopping.
Mm-hmm.
And my goal with music, when I began, I like was trying to migrate my goal, like what I wanted specifically, what I wanted. And I heard Bobby Lee say, do you know who Bobby Lee is? He's this hilarious comedian. But he was like, just focus on being calm and relaxed on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I like sort of started doing that, like how can I feel most calm and most relaxed on stage? And I came up with these mantras that worked, and like visualizing the stage and the performance kind of thing. But at 5:30, I was resting on stage. I had a 60 BPM heart rate.
That's super low.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I told my mom the story, and I was like, when I told her, I was like, okay, this is my favorite part, but I'm going to get to your favorite part, because she has different favorite parts of the music. But anyway, I was just super excited about the relaxation on stage.
Yeah. I mean, and then just to be devil's advocate here, I mean, just because your heart rate's high doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. I think I think if you don't have a little bit of pre-show jitters, like that's a shame.
Yeah.
I think if you're not a little nervous and very excited, then that's a shame. I think, you can feel trapped under the white lights. You know, you can feel kind of like a caged monkey or something, you know, where you're like, oh my God, let me out of here. I've felt that feeling a couple times, not a lot, but, you know, when I was in a bad headspace for whatever reason, but just like normally I think that there's that side of within, you know, being calm and loving and sitting and being like in your element. But you gotta be excited, you know, like having your heart rate go up and feeling like, I mean, that's what I love. I love the rush. I love the thrill. I mean, I don't think I've played in Athens nearly enough because everybody, like you said, I mean, like I'm very much known right now as like a recording guy, but I'm an artist. Like I love performing. I love jumping around and like Trevor and I, the bandmate from Convince the Kid, Trevor Thrift, we share something in common that I'm sure a lot of people who are performers feel, but you kind of like black out sometimes. Maybe it's the bourbon, but like you just like you're not thinking, you're not able to think, you're not able to be in a, you know, any kind of anxious space at all because you're just in it. You're just like, you're lost. You're in that thoughtlessness, like Jedi mind state where you're just like in the flow state of just being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's your favorite part about music is that level.
100%. And then on top of that, what really matters and the part that I want to work on more, that I envy other people who do this better, is connecting with the audience. Having that state of calm where you're like, you know your energy and you know yourself and you like are there to celebrate your life and the gathering that is around you and to help people come out of their shell, to help them feel alive through what you're doing. And that's the best thing anybody's ever said to me after a show is just like, what you did made me feel cool. Like your show made me feel good. And it's like, yeah, like I love getting paid for a show, but like, that's why you do it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's why you
do it.
Yeah.
For me.
That's the most fulfilling is when someone comes up and says something about your show, like that made them feel, you know, be emotional in a way, like be primal in a way. And then also like you expressing the sort of Jedi mindset while you're on stage and reaching that level of sort of relaxed alertness is like a superpower in anything else that you do too. So it's like that, and you have a really calm, relaxed sort of, like my feeling with you has always been like you're very aware of what's going on and you're also very relaxed about what's going on. Like you're in Jedi formation right now. Like I'm about to get attacked.
No.
Mentally. Just kidding. But what I mean is like the Jedi mind state of sort of performing, and you get to a level of you're completely in this flow. There's no anxiety. Like that feeling is, it's like a drug, but it's also sort of just a natural kind of state. You know what I mean? It seems like it's more of a natural state in terms of the world, and humans as human beings are human beings instead of all this extra stuff around, you know?
Yeah, totally, man. It's like, it's the three things. So like drug, that's the adrenaline. That's where you're like, okay, I'm going to go get up and like, you know, sing my lungs out and play my guitar the best I can, or slap the drums the best I can in front of 200 people. Whether or not, you know, like say what you will about how long you've been a performer or whatever, but like no matter who you are, if you're getting up and standing up in front of people and you're like, I have something to show you, I have something to give, that's an adrenaline rush. The calm is what you're talking about with your heart rate, with where your ability to be present, your ability to get back to the breath, like through yoga. And that skill alone, like in negotiations in business, or feeling out a room when you're a producer, like do they need to do more takes, do we need to take a break, like who needs what is wrong here, how do we fix it, what's the right way to make this play out, that thing. And then the third thing you touched on was that it's more than human, which to me That's why I got into music in the first place. Is it's totally supernatural.
Yeah.
It's the universal language. It's like there's nothing like it in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I got into music too, is that it was a reach into my soul. Like it was like an external reach into my soul. Something that is coming out of me that it's like you find gold. It's like you find a diamond in a quarry. You build this whole quarry, make this whole quarry, and you find a diamond in the center. And you're like, okay, well, there's a lot more earth under this, which means there could be more diamonds potentially, or more bad stuff.
Yeah.
And both are good to like find because not to go there. Build another quarry. You find another thing.
That's a very, very interesting. That's very that makes me think a lot just about that space of vulnerability to yourself and allowing yourself to just let whatever needs to come out.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how you write songs. I assume that there's most anybody who creates poems or songs or anything like that, there's an element of that. There's no deciding. You have to just kind of let go. So the way I've always written was I just start a recording on my phone or whatever. Hopefully, sometimes it just happens and you're like, I wish I could remember what I just did. But like almost all of my songs that I've ever written, it happens all at once. So you can like go back and like tweak lines or whatever. And I should probably spend more time doing that. But like you just let go and then whatever comes out, comes out. And it's almost like it's not from you. It's almost like it's through you.
Yeah.
So if it's a sad thing, if it's an angry thing, if it's a hurt thing, or if it's a celebration thing, like whatever it is, you just gotta like get out of the way and let whatever's in your heart and in your soul, let it come out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's fascinating to me. And it still is, and it's something I get mad at myself often about, because anytime like I sit down and give myself the space to go there's a beautiful song waiting.
Yeah.
And it's like if I spent more time doing that, how many diamonds are in there?
That's a great way to put it, is that like give yourself the time to find that song that's already there.
Yeah.
It's always already there.
It was just waiting.
It's always waiting. And man, that's so interesting, because like I just had this visual of sort of like the antenna of, the creative is sort of just capturing things from the universe and just sort of filter. They're kind of coming through your filter, your system, and then you kind of just like, this is how I translate that thing, sort of deal. Or just this is how this thing is translated. Just given all your own past experiences and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like an erosion almost. Like there's a lot of that with, it's weird, man, because like that thing takes some away from you when you put it out, but also it shows you more about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me that is sort of like the give and take of life and the creation of anything you want to create, kind of, given that you have like any type of expression that you want to express through whatever type of thing you want to grab, whether it be a painting, a visual,
mm-hmm.
or a couple of words for a poem, or a song, which is, sometimes a poem coupled with, like, how do you view poems as like, as a song that could be written? Do you ever view them that way? Or
I think you can always, I think that poetry is almost harder. I think that there's like, in recordings, if you want a recording to sound bigger, you take stuff away. If you want to feel the power of how big this moment is, you find a way to create space for it. You don't add things, you pull things so that the thing that matters breaks through that much more clearly. And so the reason I say that is like, to have a poem that stands on its own, the sound of the words, the the timbre of them, the cadence of it, the power of what you're saying has to be that much more like substantial in order for it to stand alone.
Yeah, the vocabulary really matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But just to have something with it's like a spoken thing, you know, the power of just words said in such a way or just written in such a way that like it stands on its own, I think is really powerful.
Yeah. The songwriting thing is crazy though too, you know, because like one thing that happens to me often is I'll be doing some work in here and then I'll kind of just feel this I feel like I'm having like a mini birth kind of, and then I'll just sit down and I'll do the same thing. I'll just sit down and record with my phone and play either words first, but normally it's just an idea of like today I was writing like going home alone again from a bar kind of deal. It's like, and then I like
Been there,
you know, it's like it's super interesting because just the many ways that I was trying to translate it, but yeah, it's like there was something coming up inside me that sort of needed to come out.
Yeah,
I could have like shoved it down, but it was like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's part of my intent as a recording person that I don't think a lot of recording people have now. I think people just assume that if you're going to record something that you're going to sell it or you're going to use it for commercial reasons. But when I opened a studio out of my house with two really good friends of mine, it was an all analog studio. We bought some tape machines, learned how to use them and stuff.
The tape bros?
Yeah, the tape bros. The first question I wanted on our survey, our intake form was, is this recording for personal use or commercial use? Because, like, you need to write.
Yeah.
The session I came from today was really cool. It's this guy named Grady, and he writes these songs for his wife. And he's like, I don't know, in his 70s, I suppose. He's older guy, and he writes these really sweet songs, and then he hires some musicians to like write an accompaniment and makes these recordings, and he just gives them to his wife as gifts.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's so dope.
Did he say like how his wife receives them?
No, I mean, I'm sure she loves them.
Yeah, I'm sure she loves them.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's a hack.
Yeah,
that's a hack for you and me.
Yeah, but with creating, like, I feel like one of my secrets, I'm just gonna give away most, if not all of my secrets today.
Yes.
If you want to write a song, give yourself a sandbox. Say like, okay, I have to use 3 chords. It's like, okay, I can only use 4 tracks of tape, or like, okay, like I can only write about this city or this experience, or like I'm gonna write a song that is in this time signature, or like we have to write a song about wearing white Nikes. Boom. The song isn't gonna end up being about white Nikes, but because we gave ourselves that play box, that sandbox to work in, we're gonna think about, okay, where would you wear them? You would wear them skateboarding. You would wear them, you know, playing basketball in those. You could write a whole song. That's the secret to creating, is you give yourself like confinement.
Interesting.
For me, that's one of my tricks.
I like that. That's interesting, man. Yeah.
Because we could sit around for an hour trying to decide what is worth writing a song about.
Yeah.
But if you just decided to write a song about, you know, why, you know, about a standing desk.
Yeah. Then
boom, you're off to the races, and then your song can be about something else entirely.
Yeah. That would be that's a good way to like definitely just write a song for sure. You can write a song with that 100%.
Yeah, but like you were saying, you get an idea. That's the other thing too, is one of my tests of a song is like it writes itself. Yeah. When you get the idea and it starts going, then you're like, oh yeah, and then this happens. And it's like, and yeah, it needs this. It's like, yeah, you have enough ideas about music that you've heard and that you've liked, such to the point that it's like, it's not even really you writing it anymore. It's been like, it's more or less me finding what it's supposed to be.
Finding what it's supposed to be. Yeah, like letting it build itself. Sometimes like I like that way because I like that way of writing songs because there's countless ways you can write a song kind of deal. But if you give yourself sort of a sandbox, you can still sort of like, it's just like a homework assignment kind of, that you can allow yourself to make something inside, you know, like, maybe it's a sandcastle, maybe it's a deep pit or something, and you figure out whatever that is, and you just give yourself a sort of, like how comedians in improv kind of, they're like, give us a word. What's your word? What's the word?
Yeah.
Word.
They need a spark.
Yeah, they just need a spark.
Once you got the spark, boom, you're off.
That's all the spark. And it's like, it's interesting. I'm like comparing it to like the way I'm writing songs, and it's like sometimes it's a little harder to like grab a feeling and completely verbalize a feeling, because I'm a lyrics guy. Like, I love lyrics, and if the lyrics can stand alone as sort of a poem, then the song can be really good. Like, given that it has some like solid chords and a good, whole composition or whatever. But it's harder sometimes to grab a feeling. I feel not that like harder is better. It's better to just write a song, like.
Yeah, I think it's super up to anybody's taste and up to anybody's, like, it's subjective and there's no right way, right?
Yeah. I
think that, Jason Isbell is one of the people, like, I think I admire most right now, because he's really threaded that needle between, like, southern rock and country. And country's beautiful. I love country music.
Yeah.
And I love rock music. That's where I hang out. But to be able to say meaningful things in a way that's like, it's got some southern rock, some tracks are more country. I love that. And from what I've like learned about him is that he'll like just slave over his songs and say, is this right? Does this make sense? Does this mean something? And I think it was him. I saw some video of him where he was like, a good lyric has to be right on the verge of just not meaning anything at all.
Yeah. That's true.
Which I think is great. So I think for me, I've just been lazy about, workshopping my lyrics too hard. And I'm actually the opposite as a writer. I will write the entire instrumental, like drums, bass, guitars, section by section, everything. I'll understand how the song will feel musically. And then I'll go back and I'll just play it, and I'll turn on a microphone and I'll just make myself sing into it. And whatever comes out, comes out.
Dude, my buddy in Birmingham, Les Newby, does it that way. He's a recording engineer and mixing engineer, master, and he recorded an EP of mine. But yeah, he does it the same way, and it's really interesting because. Yeah.
I think it's a comfort thing. Cool. I think it's a comfort thing. It's easier for me to sit down and write a guitar riff and then be like, oh yeah, sweet. What would be the next part? Okay, this is part B. Okay, this is cool. Then you've got 2 guitar parts going, so then you lay down a drum track to it, and then you put on a bass, and then you're like, all right, what does it need? And then like, okay, here's a bridge here, and then it's like, okay, now it's something. Now let me write some words to it.
Yeah. Okay.
But again, like, it's not like the right or wrong thing. It's just how I've always eased into it.
Yeah. Do you like just hang out at 1093 like all the time kind of thing, or?
I spend a lot of time over there. It's owned by Jim Hawkins.
Okay.
Who is a legend. Very humble legend. We met at one of the music business mixers. Right when I had transferred to UGA, I was young buck, just like so hot-headed, just like I'm ready to take on the world, wearing crazy outfits and stuff. Like I'd still do sometimes. Word. I feel like part of being an artist, being a musician, is you get to just like, express yourself through the fashion you wear. So a lot of times when I know I'm going out, I like wear something that I feel like expresses who I am. So anyways, I was wearing these like bright red pants that I bought in Spain. when I was studying abroad, and like had this like feathered cap that was super cool that I got in Colorado, and just like a Georgia t-shirt, and it was like, and I met Jim, and so then I got an internship at a recording studio because I always wanted to, learn about that, and that was at Chase Park with David Barbie. And then the following internship was at Studio 1093, and that was back in 2017, 2018. And ever since then, I had a lot of fortune and luck in that I learned how to use the gear right, and that I always showed up to the sessions ready to work. Like, it was never like something where I showed up drunk or high or anything like that. Like, if I was like, doing it, I was fully there. So I got a lot of referrals off of my first sessions, which were with a band called AFTM.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, ever since then it was like AFTM, Underground Springhouse, Walden, Jester, all kinds of bands, and now Fun Room and Asymptomatics and Regulars and stuff like that. So when I'm in there, I'm always conscious of like the electric bill, and if I'm gonna be in there doing something where I'm costing Jim money, then like I'll always leave cash in the drawer. But yeah, to answer your question, I'm over there a lot, but I always try to be cognizant of
Sure.
of that opportunity, and to treat that opportunity with respect.
Yeah.
I have you had the chance to visit the studio?
I have not.
All right, well, we need to go.
Yeah, we need to go.
We need to go because it is the only, it's not the only, but it's arguably, and I'm obviously biased, but it's the best studio in Athens. Like, kind of by far. Love David Barbie. Love Chase Park Transduction. I love Jay Rogers. I love Full Moon in Watkinsville. I haven't met Jesse, but Jesse at the Glow, but everything he does is great. And I love Tommy Troutwine. Tommy Troutwine is amazing. Dude is a genius.
I know that name from somewhere.
He runs his studio called We Bought a Zoo Records.
Oh, yeah, okay. Tommy. Oh, that's his...
Well Kept.
Yeah. I met Tommy at Well Kept Show, yeah.
That's his band.
Yeah. And Elijah Johnson and... who else is in that band? I don't know the guitarist, long hair guitarist.
Long hair guitarist. Kind of Asian cat. Maybe his name's Tony or something.
No.
Long hair. You say long hair, I assume it's a guy.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, they were great, and I met Tommy that night. And so, does he run that record label?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Right
that was his idea. Yeah,
Perfect.
he started that up. He did Hotel Fiction, I think, was his first band.
Cool.
And then he scooped up the whole a whole subset of indie music, which is so beautiful because he built this whole community where they all hang out, they play on each other's stuff, and he does such good work too.
Yeah. He's great. He's a good singer, good guitarist, great performer.
Yeah, and he's just an all-around great human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a really nice guy when I talked to him, man, and I thought he was going to be a total douche just because but he's so nice.
Yeah. Yeah, he's great. He's awesome.
I don't know if I never really think that about people anymore. It's more of just like, this is a feeling. I'm not going to pay attention to it until I confirm. But he was a super nice guy, man.
It comes back to intuition. Yeah. And that intuition can be
wrong.
Yeah, sometimes if it's not based on something that is, real, then Then
when you don't have the data or the information, then it can be wrong easily.
Yeah. So I think in the music business especially, it's really important to have your, barometer, your meter calibrated.
Yeah.
So that when you meet somebody and interact with them, it's like, okay, this is good, this is bad. And just trying to give everybody a fair shake.
Yeah.
I always try to see bands live before I record them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Huh. Have you ever thought about just making a record label and kind of gathering some people?
Have I thought about it?
Because you've got a pretty solid squad under you too. Or people you've worked with, I mean.
I've got a lot of people that I have worked with in live sound and in studio sound. And yeah, I guess I've kind of thought about it through the frame of like how people generally consume music, which is like, you know, could I make like a Spotify playlist with all the stuff that I've worked on as part of like a marketing piece of material to say like, hey, check out all this stuff I've did.
Yeah.
Which I probably should do. But
something else we have to do.
Yeah, exactly. And
so many things.
A resume thing. But yeah, I don't know. I would like to sit down with Tommy and sort of pick his brain about what his vision was with We Bought a Zoo Records and what that means to him to be like a kind of label and to kind of like have artists and like, you know, catch royalties on the back end and like have that sort of thing. Because I think he's growing, and I think it's very wise and smart for him. Frankly, I just didn't really. I mean, like, I like producing bands, but I see myself more as like an artist who happens to also be a producer.
Yeah.
And so the fact that like I'm staying very busy as a recording engineer producer is great, but it's not exactly like
it's not your front man.
I don't think it's my main bag at the moment.
Yeah.
I think I'm good at it, so I don't want to like discount it. So
what's your main bag? Like what are you most excited about right now? What project?
I've got a new band called Aliens and Mermaids.
Aliens and Mermaids.
Because I'm convinced that aliens are real and they live in the deep oceans.
We can talk about that if you want.
No, it's all good.
Okay.
I mean, we can if you want, but like anytime that there's like UFO spottings, like from the military or anything like that, it's like the pill-shaped guys, and they go into the water. Yeah. And if you research like how much we know about the deep ocean, it's like very little.
Commander Fravor, you know that guy?
With the little
Tic Tac.
Yeah, the Tic Tac with the little. Oh wait, no, that's not the guy. I'm thinking of the Pentagon guy with the little soul patch.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Who like resigned or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, I when I get bored, I try to geek out on like
UFOs.
Yeah, alien encounters and stuff. I'm driving back from late night gigs. I listen to like podcasts of like alien encounters and stuff.
What's the go-to podcast for alien encounters?
Honestly, they're all really bad. They're all garbage.
Okay.
It's like a mix between like being so spooked that I stay awake and like it's so dumb that I laugh and stay awake.
Okay. Yeah, I want like the horror story. I want like who's the redheaded cat that came on Joe Rogan's podcast? They got abducted in I think Alabama maybe. And he was a logger and like.
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I forgot his name, but that was a crazy story.
I've had multiple friends who have had like alien encounters.
Really?
Yeah.
I've had an alien encounter as well.
Please, it's time. This is why you come on the Drew Young Thomas podcast.
Let's go. So, I told the story to Josh before, but I've got it dialed. So, basically what happened was it was me and two buddies were ding dong ditching, and we were in 9th grade.
So been there.
Yeah. So
allegedly.
So we went here. We do illegal activities often. No. So we're going down the street to the guy that we know that has the M1 Grand. That he always brings his M1 Grand out to the front porch and says,
"Yeah,
I know y'all are out there," kind of thing, and So, my first friend rings the doorbell, and I'm about 20 yards behind him, away from the house, and then my other buddy is about 20 yards behind me. He's like at the road. It's kind of a long driveway, and he rings it, and then we all dart off, and we go back to my buddy's house, which is down the street. And his driveway kind of looks like this. It kind of goes down like this and into like his like parking garage over here. So my first buddy goes down and then runs into his side door over there. And then I'm running down, and I see this huge blue sort of spotlight. Like if you were to shine a spotlight at the ground, it was a huge blue light that was about 15 to 20 feet in diameter. So this thing stretched out all the way across the driveway, and I run into it. I'm about 10 to 15 feet from it when I see it, and then I run into it, and then I look up, and it's just this blue light. I can't see past it. I can't see anything about it. It's just this blue light shining in my face. No sound, no noise, no nothing. It seems to me that it was like 10 feet above this house, which was about 50 feet off the ground probably in total, this light. And I'm looking at it for a split second, and then I run inside. And then my next buddy comes down the hill, and the same thing happens to him. And I'm inside. I'm like, Chase, did you see this thing? He's like, what are you talking about? Did you ding dong ditch the guy or not? And then my next buddy comes in, and I'm like, dude, did you see this thing? And he's like, dude, oh my God, did you see that freaking light? And then we talked about, we got all the details down, you know, and we knew each other weren't sort of crazy for seeing this thing. It was wild, bro.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
It was the light was very large, and it was almost like it was so bright and focused that it was just like sort of a straight down
like
kind
a
of
beam.
light. Yeah, like a beam instead of sort of expanding.
Sure.
It was more like, it felt like this. Crazy, man. Crazy experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen a ghost.
You've seen ghosts?
Yeah.
Tell us a ghost story.
Man, I grew up in a haunted house. I grew up.
Yes.
Yeah, like 1850s, 1860s, antebellum, Civil War. Yeah. So like,
where was this?
Madison, just down the road.
Okay.
So heard them, felt them. Bugged me as a kid a little bit. Like it didn't always feel good. But when I got into my like 12 through 16, 17 years, as you kind of start to lose your ability to feel those things, I think as a child you can really, like you feel it. And I think as you get older and you numb yourself out to those sort of things, and you just say like, oh no, it's not real.
Yeah. You
kind of don't, you don't believe yourself. You like shrug it off way more easy, and you're not as sensitive to it. But I think as a kid, you're very sensitive to it, because it's real. But anyways, so grew up with them, and then had a Ouija board, which was a bad idea, honestly.
Wait, what happened? What did you say?
A Ouija board, you know, where okay. You got to be careful with those. You can't. You should not ask them to blow out a flame, because it opens a portal.
Oh, okay.
You can like invite bad things in through that, but so don't get them to blow out a candle.
Okay.
I did. We were on the verge of doing that, and it was like flickering, and then we were like, this doesn't feel good, and it was like kind of stopped. But God, there was one time at my house where like like it literally, my buddy and I were like being idiots with the Ouija board. So we were like talking to a ghost, but we like weren't giving it like time to answer. So like it rumbled my whole house, and we heard this like woman scream, and we just ran out of my entire house. We just like left the building, and we're just like no. But that isn't even the story I was talking about. We were out at night, because in Madison all of the houses are old, like most all of them. They're all historic buildings. The whole historic preservation like thing is like the whole tourist draw to Madison. It's a beautiful town. You should come down and hang out.
Okay.
Good longboarding and bike riding too, if you're into that.
Cool. Both. Yeah.
Anyways, we were out on our ripsticks and Razor scooters, little gang we had at the time. And we were driving, on our ripsticks and scooters, and we looked up at this house, and we were passing by. It was dark, and we look up in the top left window, and there was just this silhouette like looking at us. And like, I was like, what the fuck is that? And like, both of my buddies looked, and without saying another word, we all just ran because we saw it and it saw us, and it was like not a good vibe. It was like, it was a thing.
Yeah.
And we ran to our nearest friend's house. And it was like, I don't know, 9-ish, 8:30, 9, 10 o'clock at night. And like, we didn't even know if our friends were home or whatever, but like, it was a friend that we knew. And we just literally like ran into their house. They were like, let us in, because we were so freaked out. Oh. And yeah, and we went back to try to find it, and we kind of saw it. It was like, the house looked completely different. It was like super weird, but like there was nothing in that window, and it was like it was weird.
The whole house looked different?
Yeah, well, because we were like looking for it that time, and like we looked up, and like because I felt something looking at me, and I like looked, and I was like, what is that? And then like my buddy looked, and we all looked, and we all just took off running, because it was like, this is like, it just got you.
Yeah,
it was weird.
That's scary.
It was super weird.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Oh, man. I've got some like third party ghost stories, but they're good, but they're not like.
I don't even know if that's an entertaining story or not, but it happened, and the buddies that I was with will attest to that it was a weird thing.
Josh told some terrifying ghost stories. Terrifying, like gave me chill bumps.
Yeah.
He has a Bigfoot story. He's got a ghost story from his house where he grew up. And he has he's got this story about, did you listen to that? He's got.
I listened to that podcast. Yeah, I talked to him about it because I was kind of seeing this girl who's like who has a friend that like wants to find Bigfoot. So I introduced her to Josh, and I was like, I know the guy. Like, yeah. I know who you need to talk to. Yeah.
Dude, the story about the car was super weird, but super weird. I don't think I clipped it or anything, but that was a crazy story. That was the weirdest one for sure. So all right, so the aliens and the mermaids, or is it the mermaids and the aliens?
Aliens and mermaids.
Yeah, aliens and mermaids.
Yeah.
So are you singing? You playing guitar? Or like?
Yeah. So our first show is on Friday, March 25th.
Cool.
At Flicker Bar. We're playing with the Asymptomatics and another band. I don't remember who.
That'll be a fun show.
I'm playing guitar and singing, and then I got Alex Scales on the drums, and then I've got Benji Holmes on the bass.
Is that the I think I know him. Benji.
Black fella,
short
really
black
good really good looking, radiates positivity, can't keep
Yeah.
the girls off of him.
Yeah, smile on his face always.
All the time.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Good vibes.
Yeah, love Benji.
Cool.
And then the 29th, we're going to play Silver Dollar, and we're going to have Jameson Tank.
Yeah.
So me and Jameson, we're going to rip all the like songs we've always wanted to do. Like,
yeah.
I think we might try to do like Carry On My Wayward Son, just like stuff that's like really difficult, but like nobody plays because it's difficult, but it's badass.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. I'm really excited about that. The Convince the Kids stuff I'm working on right now is really good. Trevor and I, we write together really well. And it's very much like a passion project in the sense of like, we're not too worried about commercializing. We're more making art because like we want to make it and because we want it to be great. And we don't play shows that often. We don't, not as often as we would like. He's getting married, not this Saturday, but next Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, to an amazing artist named Sam Watson. Cool. She's rad. She's done a lot of our artwork.
Was what's his name again?
Trevor Thrift.
Trevor. Was Trevor the guy at the Sauce House show with Josh Bennett and me and Mace McClintock when you were there for a short period of time watching Josh Bennett? Was he with you?
I think that was Cam Corsino.
Okay, because he got in the car with you. He was like, I'm so fucking excited to play guitar when we get back, bro.
That's Cam. Dude, Cam is a fucking lion just walking around, bro.
I liked his vibe, just the way he said that.
It's always at 100 with Cam. There's no mid ground. It's like, dude. like always. Me and Cam's first band together. I was in Cam's first band because I met him. You know about the UGA music business program?
Yeah. Jameson, Josh, you now that
Did you go to UGA? Or are you at UGA? Or?
I went to Bama.
Okay, got you.
I graduated.
I
from
guess we
Bama.
can still be friends. Barely.
I wore my Bama shirt to the gym today.
If you're wearing a Bama shirt right now, it would change the dynamic of this interview. I'm just kidding. I played football too. I was a place kicker.
You were the place kicker?
For my high school team, yeah. Anyways.
The place kicker for your football team, bro.
I thought I was clutch, dude. I have always had like a pretty big ego, and I was like, yeah, I can do this. Like, fine. But I missed like the first one, and I wanted to die, dude. It was so bad. Ball didn't leave the ground. I was like, just want to pull my helmet down, and just disappear. Vernon, kickers are weird. Just kick the damn ball. Yeah, that was a whole nother set of stories I could tell you. But okay. So UGA music business. I met Cam Corsino. Cam Corsino, when we met, because I was interning at David Barbie's studio, and I was like, David, I'm trying to start a band. Like, do you know anybody in our M-Bus class that plays drums? Because every M-Bus class is 100 people. So when I got in, I was honored. I slaved over that paper. Like, because you have to, at least you had to write a paper to try to get admitted. And now the UGA Music Business Program, like, people come from all around the country to do this program. So I knew that, and I knew how big a deal it was. And so I was like, not really intimidated, but I just was very curious about who the other 99 people were in this class. Because I was like, I know who I am, and I know what I want to do, and, like, how good I am, and yada, yada. But, like, I bet all these other 99 people are just as dope as I am.
Yeah.
So anyways, I asked him, I was like, is there anybody in the class that plays drums? And David was like, yeah, Cam Corsino plays drums. Hit up Cam. So I just like walk up to him after class one day. I was like, David said you play drums? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, let's start a band. He's like, I've never played a show. And I was like, we'll play a show before this year is out. And that was 2017. And we played at Caledonia Lounge, which I don't know if you ever got to go to.
I did, yeah. One time.
So you know.
It was a banging place.
Louder than hell, and it sounded great.
Yeah. Yes.
I love Caledonia. I love Bryant Williamson and Gene and all those guys, like, and Amber Griffin, she's one of the best sound people around. Badass lady. Anyways, so yeah, we played our first show there together. We played in our first band together called Property of Bolton. And the EP is still on Spotify, but it's just Cam ripping through the drums. And it was these songs that I wrote, and had a guy named Marshall Hansen who played bass, and Kelly Bouchelon played lead guitar. I don't know if you've ever met Kelly. He lives in Atlanta now, but he comes back all the time. But anyways, he's the lead guitarist at AFTM.
Okay, all right. Cool.
Yeah, good homie.
They're doing really well.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They're killing. And then Daniel played with them in Atlanta.
Yeah, recently. Daniel Miller. Shout out Dan Miller,
Daniel.
Man.
Yeah, Daniel's playing drums on my EP.
Great.
Yeah,
rad. I'm excited. I hope that Wim Tapley and Daniel Miller tour the world and come back and call me up to drink a beer afterward.
Yeah, man, I know.
Yeah, I'm excited for them.
Yeah, they're gonna be freaking dope.
But anyways, that was me and Cam's meeting. Was we started Property Bolton, and we just shredded through some like hard rock, borderline heavy metal stuff, and then like Preston was the old drummer of AFTM, the original drummer, and then Kelly needed a drummer, so we took Cam, and then AFTM, you know, obviously with all of them being in different fraternities and the music being very like, you know, crowd friendly and everything, they just blew up. So it was like, okay, cool.
So Cam's still the drummer?
No, he quit. He quit again recently. Right. Yeah.
Good on him then.
He's got bigger other fish to fry.
Right on.
He's a talented DJ. He's a producer now. He went to Tweed Recording, studied audio, and he's working with the Everyday Dogs and basically anything he can get his hands on.
Does Tweed Recording do a pretty good job of like teaching you audio recording and stuff?
I don't know.
I want to get back on this, like, because I'm trying to learn how to audio record just a little bit, just like the recording part.
Well, how do you do with spiders?
With spiders?
Like the arachnids, like
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go to the recording workshop in Ohio.
In Ohio?
Yeah.
I've got to go all the way to Ohio.
I would. That's what I did.
How long do I have to stay there?
5 weeks.
5 weeks?
Yeah.
I'll get a hostel and just...
They have
hang out in
cabins.
Ohio.
That's why I asked about the spiders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it
Anyway,
expensive or...
nah. Super affordable. You get a good ass education. There ain't nothing to do but you wake up, you drink your cup of coffee, you go to the studio. Okay. You eat lunch, you go back to the studio, you eat dinner. If you're lucky, you get back into the studio. Then you go to sleep and you do it again for 5 weeks. Dude, and they teach you everything from the ground up.
Okay.
Shout out to John, Jim, Jeff, all those guys up there.
What's it called again?
The Recording Workshop. It's been there since the 70s.
Workshop.
You're driving through Ohio, in rural Ohio. There's nothing. There's trailers on your left, you know, like nothing. It's a rural ass town called Chillicothe. And then the rural sub part of that town called Massiville. Middle of nowhere, man.
Yeah.
And then there's just this pretty substantial recording compound where you just go and there's studio A, B, C, D, and E, and you learn about sound for picture, you learn about analog flow, you learn digital flow, you learn just any kind of signal flow and how the microphones work, what they do, Ohm's law, impedance, you know. Yeah. All kinds of everything you need to know.
One thing that's like interesting also is that if you want it, like I've gotten advice from a lot of different people on this, and it's like just download the software and try it and look up YouTube videos to figure out what to do, and then other people are like, just outsource it, don't do it. And then other people are like, just use Audacity. Some people are like, it's all over the board, like what to do. And
what are your goals?
My goal is I want to be able to wake up in the morning and record acoustic guitar and my vocals at the same time and be able to listen back over them. And I want to make scratch tracks, essentially.
I would say GarageBand's not quite enough. GarageBand's all right, but download Apple Logic because it's a $200 flat fee. You own it for life.
Okay.
A lot of the other nice...
Can you do that with Windows, though? I don't think you can download it on
I
Windows.
don't know if you can get Apple Logic on a Windows machine. My gut would say no.
Yeah.
And we're trusting our guts now, right?
Yeah. We have the info on that one.
Dang. There's others. I know a lot of people that swear by Ableton. There's Studio One. I just don't know how to use them. It's a matter of getting familiar with your tool, whatever it is. Yeah. If it's an analog board, great, get familiar with it, how to use it, and then print a track. If it's Audacity, great. I don't think Audacity can do what you need to do, though.
Yeah.
I think it's like, because what you need to do is be able to record to it, EQ it, compress it, and use some time-based effects like a verb or some delay, and then print it to what you need to do, and then set the loudness to hear it however loud you want to hear it. Yeah. That's all you really need to do. So I need to like just see if I can actually do it on Audacity, and then if I can do it, then good. But if not, then whatever. Learn another one. That's what I started on, was Audacity. Yeah. And what I would do was I would record a track and then record another track and then record another track, and then like the songs would be shaped like in like a diagonal line, if that makes any sense. Yeah. Because it would like I'd play through this part and then I'd play through that part and then play through that part and play through that part, and all the only controls I had were left and right panning and how much gain was on it. Oh, really? That's all you had? That's the only controls I had, or that's the only ones I knew how to use on there, because I didn't know my ass from my elbow at the time. Yeah. And that took me from being 15 with owning 2 microphones, trying to track, whole bands or my own self playing all the instruments as a band from the age of 15 until 21. And then when I turned 21, the first class I took when I went to UGA was production. Okay. Okay. Tom Lewis's production class, yeah. Yeah, because like you can just use effect on there. Like there's a lot of there's effects, little tab up there that you can. It's got a compressor on it. It's got an amplify. It's got those are the only 2 I use. Normalization. If you're making demos, that can get it done. It's just a matter of like, is it the can you get it down to the point where it's efficient? Because if you're stuck, clicking buttons looking for what you're trying to do, and then it eventually becomes like, 3/4 of what you wanted it to be, then that's not really getting you there.
Yeah.
And you're spending a lot of time on there when, if you had a better program that you knew how to use right, then you could just get it done. I mean, like, sometimes I charge bands for things that don't take me half an hour, but just because it doesn't take me half an hour doesn't mean it's not very valuable.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. I do the same thing with software stuff. It's like, it'll take me 30 minutes to do, but I'll charge for 3 hours kind of deal, which...
Well, my point with that is that charging on a daily or an hourly basis is a flawed way of charging people for your services, is what I mean to say. Because you're not paying for my hour of time. You're paying for my decade of training to get it done the right way.
Right. Right. It's like and it's not even like a 3 hour or a day kind of thing. It's just like the compressed value of what you can provide. And it's not, at some point, it's not even like a time restriction, sort of like time parameter sort of deal. You're just, here's the product, this is what it costs.
Yeah. And then with other things, like when you have skilled labor to provide, then your time is more valuable than other people's time.
Yeah.
But
like there's a piece of me that's like, just use Audacity and just record with Audacity, you'll be fine. And then when you actually want to record like legit stuff, like bring the scratch tracks to the studio and then get a drummer and a bassist on top, and then do the whole studio. That, like, if I could go back and redo what we were talking about doing, given the fact that we're already like in the middle of the whole process here, and we've kind of got it dialed here, but if I didn't have this place here, I would have this, do scratch tracks, send them to Garrett, send them to Daniel, get them like rehearsed on them, and then bring them to the studio and get them to do those two things. I feel like for my future, that's where I'm headed.
Sure. I think that's wise. I mean, like, unless you have ambition as a studio guy,
yeah,
which is great. It's fun. You get to, there's a lot of good in that, but if you have that ambition, great. But if not, then maximize your efficiency in getting done what you need to get done, and then let an expert who's going to devote their life to being a geek of like, yo, what's what kind of transformer is inside of this preamp, and your
face on that was just the interest. The curiosity level was amazing.
Dude, it's a rabbit hole. It's a never-ending rabbit hole. I just bought an Ampex MM1200. That's right.
I don't know what the fuck that means, but it sounds badass.
To the people who know what that means, they know what that means. I was in the right place at the right time, and a machine came up for sale, and I went halvesies with it with my friend Vic Fisher, who's a genius. He fixes my tape machines and is a really good friend, good engineer, great drummer. He plays drums in Cadillac. Cool guy. Anyways, got an opportunity to buy what is literally, and I'm not embellishing, and it may seem like I'm embellishing, but I'm not. This is literally the greatest tape machine ever built. Like, Zeppelin albums recorded on it, all this stuff. It's 16-track, 2-inch tape. So it's the highest width per track on a tape machine, which increases the fidelity and richness and thickness and globbiness of what you're recording to it, to the point where like you could just record your band's tracks and run it through this tape machine and then get it back out. It would just sound better. Anyway, so I just bought it with my buddy, and I'm
Tape Bros?
No, Tape Bros is gone. Tape Bros is done. Well, I may use the branding. I need to reach out to the other guys I started Tape Bros with and say, hey, I'm starting chapter 2 soon. Because something about the way that branding and marketing worked, it really worked. Something about that name and the logo and the way we did things was very right.
It's like Super Smash Bros.
Yeah, exactly. Kinda. Tape Bros.
Yeah, and then like your house some reason, like in my mind, like your house is associated with Tape Bros.
Yeah, that's where we did it.
Yeah.
And it's a great house.
Yeah.
You should come hang out.
Yeah, I'd be down. It looks old, very antebellum kind of.
Yeah, it is. Ask Wim Tapley about it. Wim came down because he he showed up to town, young, bright-eyed fella, and he was like, "You're Jeff, you're a legend," and I was like, "Get out of here!" And he wanted to like work on something or produce something or do something, and I was like, "Man, why don't you just come over? I'll make us some food and we'll just hang out and jam." Because like, I mean, like, yeah, but like, I would rather just get to know a guy like that, you know. I think he's super talented.
Yeah, he is.
I think he's going places. So, anyways, I was like, just come hang. Let's be friends. And then if you need some help with something, then I'll help you with it. But, but yeah, ask him about it. Because we made a demo on tape. I need to bounce it off of the tape. It only exists on the tape machine.
Cool.
But yeah, so I think yeah. Now that I've got this 2-inch machine, it is almost my duty to tell people it's like, hey, I can now produce recordings that are in some ways better than anybody else in Athens. Like David Barbie at Chase Park has a 16-track 2-inch machine, but he's the only one, and it's not an Ampex MM1200. Anyways, little flex. Super excited about that.
Yeah.
But the tangent came off of the fact that you don't want to be a geek.
Yeah.
Who's like twisted knobs.
It's like there's a piece of me that would be down to do that, but then there's another side of me of like, if I start doing it, I'm gonna be obsessed with it, and I'm also I'm gonna be like, it's another thing on my plate that I need to do. It's like at this point of my life, I need to start outsourcing.
Yeah.
It's just easier. It's just like, oh, thank God somebody else is doing this for me.
Well, where is all your music, man? Because I was checking out your stuff this week, and I was wondering, I thought Head Underwater had come out, but I don't think you ever put it out.
I haven't released it because...
I love your background, by the way. Rome.
Oh, yeah. That's Rome right there.
Yes, it is. That's the what do you call it? Where everybody hangs out. The forum. That's the forum, and then the top left is the
that's the
Coliseum. Yeah.
Coliseum,
yeah. I walked right through there. I've seen those columns and everything.
Yeah, I've been there as well. It's a beautiful place.
The reason I brought that up, I've been admiring it this whole time we've been talking. But when you sent me the master, I was staying in an Airbnb apartment in Rome at the time, and I mixed it, drinking a cup of coffee, just looking out over Rome, and I really loved the track, man. I really liked it, and I really enjoyed that moment of being like, here's this guy who doesn't really know me, and he sent me this track to take care of, and I hope you like what I sent back. But
I did, yeah. Very nice.
Well, it's a good song, and your voice is great, man. Like,
thank you.
Last time you played at Boar's Head, or last time I saw you play at Boar's Head, multiple people were like, I really like his voice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow. That's. Thank you for the compliment, man.
Yeah,
really
sincerely.
That. That song is. This thing of when you have a song, it's completed, and it's like, I could do better. Kind of thing.
Oh, you mean like a recording is completed?
Yeah, like it's like for me, I scrapped a whole EP. I scrapped 5 songs that I had. They were mastered as well, and like we had been in the studio, recorded all these songs, scratch tracks, bass track, drum track, solos on top, vocal on top.
In Alabama,
guitar,
right?
In Alabama.
Yeah. Home studio, professional studio?
Professional studio.
Wow.
And
did the guy know what he's doing? Good vibe?
Yeah, for sure.
What was lacking? Where was it?
I don't want to get into it too much, but I mean, it was basically it was some inexperience on basically I sent it to my buddy in Nashville, and my producer buddy in Nashville, and he was like, oh man, it's good, but like there's a couple of parts of it you need to redo. You have to. And like, he's kind of a perfectionist kind of guy.
Sure.
So I took his advice, and I still have the music, but they're kind of they're like demos to me at this point, kind of deal.
Yeah.
The vision for the project was a little. We weren't together completely for the vision of what I wanted for the project, and anyway, scrapped the EP.
Yeah.
There's too much there inside my mind.
Yeah, no, sorry. You fucking
scrap the EP.
Yeah.
But 5 finished songs and then Head Underwater. Now Brian Nichols heard it, and you know Brian, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Brian Nichols, sax guy.
Yeah,
sax guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sax man.
Yeah, sax and cigar guy.
Yeah, cigars too.
Yeah, he's great. I gotta say, watching him over the last, I guess, almost year now, he's gotten massively better.
Yeah.
Which is not to say he was bad in the first place. He wasn't. But now he's listening more and he sounds really good.
Yeah. Yeah. So he said, "Hey, I've got this violinist. I want your advice on this." He said, "I have this violinist in Savannah that would be down to put or he's like, he owes me a favor." And this guy's like he said he's a super professional. And he's like, he was like, "Let's re-record Head Underwater and then we'll send it to the violinist in Savannah and then he'll track his violin over the top of it. And then we'll do that." And so now I'm like, all right, well, I've already got this sort of like kind of finished product now. And now I'm like seeing all the critiques now sort of too, like all the things I would do differently.
Sure.
Kind of thing. And so I get like, what do you think? Like, I mean, a piece of me is like, I could put it out as a demo, I could put it out as is, and then scrap the violin thing. But artistically, what would be the coolest is to redo it, go get the violin on top, and then get it redone, basically.
Yeah. Well, I think that, it's hard to oversaturate yourself now. I think like if you drop a song, it only just like, because of the nature of how people consume things, you click on it, you listen to 30 seconds of it, you move on with your life.
That's true.
Which is sad, but that's a whole nother discussion. But put out what you got in some kind of regular fashion so people can count on hearing from you. Like Jameson Tank's the one to learn from on that. Okay. He doesn't like to, but he posts on Instagram every day. Yeah. You can expect to say, okay, what's Tank doing this week? What's he doing today? What's he doing? Where's he at? He's a part of your life. Yeah. He's a part of your life. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's
Let me know if you want some more of this.
I'm almost there.
Okay.
I'm excited. This is pretty good. What is this?
It's a small batch 1792.
Okay. From the gas station.
No, from the liquor store up the street.
Okay. I was like, okay. That's pretty good. I'm not a bourbon snob by any means, but I do try not to drink cheap stuff.
Yeah, me too.
It helps with the hangovers, man.
It does.
And if you don't mix it with soda, if you mix stuff with soda, then it's like...
Sugar's bad for you.
Well, I like soda, but like if you're going to mix...
I do too.
I really like a lot of things that are really bad for you.
Like Snickers and Oreos and ice cream and cheesecake.
Loud music and fast cars and girls.
No earplugs and girls. Girls are good for you though.
Yeah, they are.
Do you have a girlfriend right now?
I don't know about titles.
Okay.
Is this relevant to the podcast? Is this a relevant podcast question?
Yeah.
I'm seeing somebody. She's really sweet.
Cool. You don't have to say her name or whatever.
Yeah.
But I know you've been name dropping all
For
night.
her sake, yeah, exactly. I don't want to put her through that.
Yeah, okay. That's fair. Cool.
But okay, so before bourbon, advice on what to do. Try to stay relatively on the track.
Yeah, I was trying to veer us off track because I'm a little insecure about talking about this just because.
Why?
I don't know. It's just like it hurts a little bit to scrap something and redo it.
Well, to share where I'm coming from is like I'll write a bunch of songs and then occasionally I'll write one that's good enough and a recording comes out good enough that's got enough special parts that I think are really human and really cool and really expressive, and it's like, okay, I'll let that one out into the world. It's kind of the way I view things up till now. I haven't tried to achieve commercial success as a recording artist. I've just recorded to the best of my ability and been proud of what I've made, and I suck it up. And when I set my mind to putting out a record, I'll do it. And if I make a recording that I think is worthy of letting other people hear it and think that others might enjoy it, I'll put it out.
Yeah.
And I think it's really that simple nowadays, because like, if it resonates with somebody, that's great. I mean, there's certain records of bands that I love that, like, I like this weird live version that only exists on YouTube way better, you know? So it's like, if you have a version that you're at least partially proud of, that you think people might like, put it out. And then put out another version. Then put out another version if you want.
Yeah.
There's nothing stopping you from doing that.
Yeah.
You know, and at the worst, then the worst possible thing you could be doing is running up a tab with your God, what do you call it? DistroKid, CD Baby, your
yeah, that's true.
distributor. But use DistroKid, because then you can release as much as you want.
Yeah, I'm on DistroKid.
Yeah, same. And so like, yeah, put it out. Say, hey, guess what? Here's this single. Check it out. And then it's like 5 people click on it. And it's like 10 streams later, 3 months later, you're like, I'm gonna put out another version, and then do it. I mean, yeah. I liked what you sent me, but mainly that's because of your voice and because of how stripped down the recording is. It allows your voice to shine. But you should come by 1093, drop $100 with me, and it'll sound like just.
It'll sound crisp,
dude. I mean, not even
$10,000 mic crisp.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's silly, man. It's silly over there.
That's what I realized recently. My idiot naivety was like, why would you go to the studio? And then it's like, because they have amazing microphones and amazing equipment.
It's a catch-22 / double-edged sword. Yeah. So it's like, you're there to be intent.
I sat in that chair and recorded Head Underwater.
Yeah. Well, well, that's the thing. So there's a comfort of being at home. There's a comfort of being at home. There's a comfort of not being on a clock.
Yeah.
There's an intention of going somewhere else and being like, this space is designed and is purposeful for me to be intentional with my time here and to get done what I need to get done and to be here. And there's a pressure with it too. So it's like, it's a catch-22 double-edged sword. Because like, I hear bands talking about like, we've been practicing for weeks, ready to go execute what I'm going to sit there and hear, you know?
Yeah.
And so there's pressure to it too.
You like the pressure. I like it.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it.
I like it.
I like it, dude.
I like it.
I like the grind. I like how, man, I love it. I love the pressure. It's like,
it's that adrenaline. It's that rush. It's like, all right, one shot, one go, one kick, one ride, one show, one song, one note, one solo.
Yourself, baby.
Yeah, you go in, leave it in there. Leave it there, bro. Leave it on the fucking floor, bro.
Yeah, dude. I love it.
Yeah.
That's man.
And that was the most frustrating part about kicking field goals. Is because you got that vibe of like, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to leave it out there, I'm going to leave it on the field. But the thing about field goals, man, is it just shows whether or not you put the reps in on your own time and whether or not you got that inner calmness, because you don't get to like, okay, I missed one note on the guitar solo, but the rest of it was rad and people loved it. If you miss that note on the guitar solo, which is the game tying field goal, you missed.
Yeah.
You don't get to redo it. You get one moment.
Yeah.
And that, man, what a character building experience that was. Because you don't get another shot. I played varsity soccer my whole life, and it's like, yeah, you fuck up and you let somebody past you, scores a goal or whatever, then it's like, all right, reset. I'm going to go at him this time.
You a defense guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No matter, because I had high willpower.
Yeah.
And I'm fast.
You're fast.
Yeah. So, whoever, and I could just kind of tell by looking at the other team. I played soccer my whole life, ever since I was like, I don't know, 6, 7 years old. I could just tell just by the way that another player like carried themselves, what kind of cleats they had, that sort of thing. I was like, that's the guy.
Yeah.
And my main job was to make sure that guy had a bad day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I got, oh my gosh, probably a yellow card every game.
Dude.
I was mean slide tackling. I was a very angry young man, and I took it out on the field. And I'd never injured anybody, thank God. But, yeah, Well, yeah, never injured anybody too badly, I think.
I used to I played golf in high school, and the put it all out on the field kind of thing. I had this one time where I shot a 90 as the number one guy, which is all other number one guys are shooting in the low 70s, and I shot a 90. My first time being, I think it was maybe my first time like being on the team or like playing varsity. My first tournament, it was my first tournament ever. That's what it was. And I shot a 90 as the number one guy, which is like in soccer, like tripping over your shoe as somebody's going to go score a goal kind of deal. It was terrible, bro.
Golf, I am not good at. I played top golf. I really enjoyed it, but
yeah. I love running now.
Really,
I love it.
I will run if I'm chasing after a soccer ball or a frisbee. That's about it.
Do you throw frisbee?
I love ultimate, and I do
too.
some disc golf.
Okay, yeah, I'm pretty good at disc golf.
I'm trash. I'm garbage, but I'll go out there and get humbled.
Yeah. Actually, I'm probably not that good.
I can't flick too good.
Yeah.
I still throw like that.
Do you have a team for frisbee ultimate?
I have a few Facebook groups I'm in, but I don't go.
Okay.
I could. I used to a lot.
Dude, we should go.
Okay. I'm down.
That'd be fun, bro.
I could use the exercise, honestly.
Yeah, that'd be a good time.
I'm more like, like weights and generally just like maintaining the skinny rock star look kind of vibe.
For
but
sure.
I don't do enough cardio nowadays.
Yeah. I'm trying to gain weight right now too. So
I'm with you, man. I eat as much as I can.
I know.
Nothing I can do.
I know.
And I'm, fingers crossed it stays that way, because when my metabolism slows down, it'll be hell. Because I'm a big midnight snack guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's like, honestly, like guys like you and me just eat as much as you can, and like I've got some like little back fat stuff, but I mean I don't care. Like it's so minimal, and I'm just trying to constantly just eat more.
Sure.
But it's kind of hard, I guess.
Yeah, well, I feel like I just need to stay steady on a workout plan, because I'll hit upper body, I'll hit I try to do anywhere from 20 to 100 push-ups every day.
That's good.
Just catch a quick 12 set, you just think about it. Oh, yep, I'm gonna do it. Just help kind of stay active and keep your your system more or less in line. Do planks. I also like yoga a lot.
Oh yeah.
You
mentioned yoga earlier.
I used to have a hot yoga membership. I've done yoga ever since I was in my teens and stuff. Super great.
You have a hot yoga membership? Used
to. I kind of got into that. Girl I was seeing at the time, we also liked red wine a lot. Anyways, we decided at 1 or 2 a.m. That we were going to go to a hot yoga class the next morning at 6.
Oh, wow.
It was a horrible idea, bro. I nearly died.
Yeah.
But hot yoga is serious, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hot yoga that's nothing to play with. But
I've done one hot yoga class. And
yeah.
I've done a decent amount of yoga. Probably 15 yoga classes in all.
Uh-huh.
But I learned a lot of solid stretching from there.
Yeah, yoga can be so many different things, but mainly it's just about the centering and listening to your body and getting back to the the breath. Mm-hmm. That's what I like out of it so far, at least, because being a guitarist and a drummer and everything else, my wrists hate me, my shoulders hate me, my neck sometimes hates me. Yeah. Those sorts of things where 13-pound Les Paul doesn't seem like a lot, but if you don't have a lifestyle in which you can stay aligned, then you'll walk around like this and you've got anyways. So
for sure.
That stuff is helpful with that. And I don't know if you ever have tried, and you'll only see 70 people in their 50s through 70s in these classes, but restorative yoga, super chill, man. So chill. You just kind of ease into the poses and you breathe for 10 minutes and you're yeah. Which is the opposite of hot yoga, where you're basically getting a cardio exercise and your body's am I dying? Is this how it ends?
Yeah.
But
Vinyasa is my favorite.
Yeah.
Or the slow flow.
Yeah.
I want it to fucking hurt, dude. I want it to hurt.
Also, yoga ties in well with like, you know, the outdoors stuff. Like, so all my like van life adventures and like climbing mountains and stuff. Like, whenever I get on top of a mountain, I just can't resist but like trying to just center myself in a place like that, you know, because you can really tap in. You can really be like,
yeah,
you know,
you can spend a lot of time on the top of a mountain.
yeah, or in the middle of the desert. I was out in Big Bend National Park, which is like not the big dip out of Texas, but the one just west of it, which is like on the Mexico border. And I was like, I kid you not, man, probably 100 miles from like the nearest person.
Oh wow!
And that feels different. That feels different because you don't realize how much of like other people's energy like kind of globs onto you and attaches to you until you're like, there's nothing out here, and you're like, it's just me. And it's so freeing because I tend to like and that again, this is just me being like who I am through my astrological or whatever kind of composition that made me, but like I tend to pick up on people's vibes, and I tend to like you know, feel that. And so like I was out in this place where I was like all alone, and I was like, oh man, like it's just me. So that was cool. It was really cool.
Yeah, dude, spending time alone for me is just incredible. I love it. Like, it's so like restorative, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I also like live my life fueled by the energy of other people.
Yeah, same.
So
couldn't live like in the mountain like without anybody around.
Yeah, but when I've done some of my like adventuring, I always kind of look at what lands for sale and like, you know, kind of fantasize about like, okay, maybe I could start a farm here. I also really love gardening. I think there's something very primal about that. But
you got the kids at home?
The kids? Yeah. I'm a plant dad.
Yeah.
Right now, I don't have anything special. I got some tulips. I got some azalea bushes. I don't have anything that I'm eating off of, except for some mint. I have some mint that I make mint juleps and like mojitos with.
Oh, nice.
Mint grows like a weed, though. It's like squash. Anybody can grow squash.
Okay. Anybody can grow squash?
I think so. Yeah, okay. The trick with squash is you got to pick it before it gets too big. Otherwise, it goes sour. You don't like it?
Okay. I need to start a garden.
It's great. You got a good spot. You could maybe.
I want to be a dad.
You want to be a plant dad?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a bad plant dad, at least with my indoor ones. I tend to get plants that are
thirsty sometimes.
Yeah, well, it's funny because they'll like be like straight up, and then like I won't water them for a week because I'll be in Nashville or somewhere, and then I'll come back and they're like, and I'm like, put some water in them in 2 days, they're standing up again. Those are the kind of plants I like for like indoor house plants, but like for a garden, you know. That's a whole nother thing where you're thinking about it. We're like, okay, like if I maintain this and take care of it, then I'll be able to eat salads and do stuff. And that's the best tasting stuff, dude. When you grew it in your yard and you like taste it and you know it and you're like, you wash it and it's like just yours and you know like nothing has been on it. Yeah. It's like, that's the best tasting stuff.
Yeah. I had there was like a white light kind of like, garden sort of deal. My ex-girlfriend's dad had one, and we ate a salad on it one time, and it was fantastic. Yeah like I can imagine like outside's probably a little better, but I mean it was so good just eating plants that were grown by, you know, an individual inside the house. Yeah, well, you can find cool like little local markets and stuff where they get stuff from local farms, and that's great, but you're gonna pay for that, and you don't get the added pride of like, I grew this, you know. Yeah. I really like growing tomatoes. I have a few tomato secrets. Okay, tomatoes. Yeah, like cherry and grape tomatoes, like little ones, and regular tomatoes, I guess too. But the sucker leaves. So like you get like the stems and then the other stems and then leaves that come off of them, and then you get little yellow buds, and when those get pollinated, those are what becomes the tomatoes. But then you get these little side tiny leaves that are on the sides of the stems, and they don't really do anything. So you pluck those leaves because they just take energy. Sucker leaves. Sucker leaves.
Sucker
Gotcha.
leaves. And then when I grew up in
You gotta pluck those suckers out of your life too.
gotta
You know,
pluck those suckers out of your life. Anybody that's sucking in your life, no, I'm just kidding.
Anybody that sucks.
If you can't lift them, yeah, dude. There's a phrase my sister told me. Sucks to suck.
See ya.
It's brutal. It's brutal. Gotta cut the suckers out of your life. But yeah, I grew up in Florida, like my early years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my dad has always loved plants. So he's got like grapefruit, avocados, oranges, grows pineapples. But when the pineapples get big enough to actually like enjoy, raccoons come and take them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Raccoons
I saw a wild.
take a whole pineapple.
Oh yeah, raccoons are
Just drag it
smart.
away.
Raccoons are smart. I catch possums in Georgia.
Do you see like a? Wait, you catch possums?
Yeah, I catch possums
Well, how do you catch them?
in my trap.
In your trap? What do you do after you're done with them?
I take them. No. You can. You absolutely can.
can?
I don't, but you could.
You ever tried them?
I've not had possum. I've not eaten possum that I'm aware of.
I've got a deer waiting for me back home. Just got it. Got the meat done.
You gotta be careful with that, man, especially nowadays.
I know the bad brain.
What do you
stuff.
call it? Yeah, mad deer disease or whatever. The flesh eating shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you gotta be careful with that. But no, I just
catch possums.
I catch they show up sometimes, so I have to catch them because they'll get into some crawl spaces and do some things and whatnot. And I shoot squirrels with a slingshot that I have because they'll eat and get into the roof and stuff.
Yeah. What sound did they make when you hit them?
I'm not sure that I've ever heard a sound from hitting one. I can only remember hitting one. Normally, like, because I don't shoot them with anything like metal or anything, because like I don't want to leave that in my yard. But like I'll shoot them with. I've got a bunch of pecan trees, so I'll shoot them with pecans, and it doesn't hurt them.
Yeah.
It just freaks them out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like they just.
What the hell is that shit?
They're just like they run. Yeah. Or other people would probably shoot them with a BB gun or something, but I'm just the weirdo out there shooting him with a slingshot. And
hey Jeff, why don't you just shoot him with a BB gun, man?
Yeah. I don't like guns, but I respect guns. I've shot a lot of guns. My grandfather was a licensed gun instructor in Oklahoma, and he's also legally blind simultaneously.
Wow.
If that tells you something about
That's
the
hilarious.
United States and the laws. But shot 12 gauge, shot lots of revolvers and all that kind of stuff. I know how to use guns and clean guns, and I've shot plenty of them, but I respect the danger of it, and I just prefer not to have them in my life.
Yeah.
But I'll kill you. No, I'm just kidding. With my slingshot.
Yeah. And my walnuts.
Yeah, but no, I just like I got a trap and I gotta take care of possums and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I talked to this Canadian one time about the gun laws in America and stuff, because Canada they don't have any guns, I don't think, or like they don't do a lot of that stuff.
I don't think anybody has guns like we have guns.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Maybe in Russia.
Maybe Russia.
Maybe in Russia.
Maybe in Russia.
And like like Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, at least
Or
like
Mexico,
the civilians like buying a lot of guns often for fun.
We have a high like gun culture.
Yeah.
We have a very much like a pro gun culture.
Yeah. And like I own a couple of guns, but it's like I'm also a hunter too, but it's mainly for meat, man. It's just for meat. It's just really good high quality stuff.
I identify with like the idea of hunting and like needing to kill for food and that sort of thing. I just personally, in the world that exists today, in the 2022 or in modern era and whatnot, I just like I haven't ever really felt that desire to kill something.
It's not particularly a good feeling.
Yeah.
When you take a life. You know
right.
what I mean?
It's like I get wasps that come into my house. So I have some windows that I fixed, but anyways, the windows used to kind of crack open sometimes, and I would get wasps that come into my house, and people were like, kill it, kill it, kill it. And I'm like, I'm not gonna kill it. It's a pollinator. We need him.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
I catch them and I get them outside. Like I won't kill anything
Wow.
except
That's incredible.
I'll kill cockroaches.
Yeah.
What else would I kill?
Mouse.
I'll definitely kill cockroaches.
You won't kill a mouse. Mouse is too bloody.
I can. I mean,
too weight.
it depends. If it's my house, maybe not. But I believe in the ecosystem, right? So I don't believe in pesticides. I don't believe in nothing like that.
Okay,
So like, even with cockroaches, when I lived in Florida, it was like, you know, you'd see like a big population of cockroaches, and then like a month later, you'd see a lot of lizards.
Yeah.
You're like, okay. And then after that, you see a lot of, you know, I don't know, you know, small eagles or something, you know, like
Yeah.
there's a greater picture that, you know, you don't need to use poison and kill everything around you.
Yeah.
And people, you know, people have these health issues and things like that, and it's really a result of like this man-made shit that we put in our lives.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird that like how humans fit into the hunting world now, because we've been around for so long that now deer have evolved to be killed by hunters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
it's kind of weird.
And I will say too that like I don't judge and I don't look down
I didn't
upon
catch that
anybody.
vibe at all.
Yeah, I don't judge or, you know, look at anything people who are hunters.
Yeah, no.
Especially with deer, because they're overpopulated, like,
Yeah.
and they pose a hazard, you know, with driving and everything else. It's like that's a service. And with other, you know, like wildlife services, I played a gig for a hunting lobby one time. I was in a country band, and we did this like Georgia legislative hunting lobby gig at the Ritz-Carlton one time, and I met these really interesting people that were like talking about like, no, we have to maintain these like alligator populations, and like this is the right way to like help make it like function as an ecosystem. And I was like, I never would have thought that.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it
seems
is.
like humans have been around for forever, so all these animals have evolved to be hunted by humans, because if humans weren't there, then they would just overpopulate themselves. It's weird.
Well,
we exist inside the ecosystem,
right,
essentially.
Right, and we've run amok with it, and that's a part of what's driving everybody nuts. We're removed from nature.
Yeah,
that's a fucking problem.
That's for sure.
Can I get a little more, little snort?
Yes, sir.
There's a book that I'll let you borrow if you're interested. It's called Food of the Gods.
Food of the Gods.
Yeah, there's a so basically the theory, or the what do you call it? The thesis. Yeah, the thesis of this book is that what made primates and chimpanzees and whatnot make the evolutionary jump to being Homo sapiens was psychedelic drugs.
Yeah,
like mushrooms.
The stoned ape theory.
Yeah, so that's what like made our brains develop in such a way.
Yeah, in 2 million years it like quadrupled in size or something like that.
All right, cool. You're already on the wave, but check out Food of the Gods. It's a good book, man.
Wait, Fruit of the Gods?
Food of the Gods. It talks about like
Who's the author?
4 different kinds of psychedelics. Oh my god, I don't remember.
Graham Hancock?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I feel like if you said the name, it would like
Terrence McKenna.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
He's a psychedelic dude.
Yeah.
Big mushroom guy.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of the overarching one, was like they had like the 4 different kinds, like acid, DMT, mushrooms, and whatever, maybe ayahuasca.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was talking about how mushrooms was like the one, like.
Yeah. Have you ever experimented with any of that stuff, like in a mindful way, sort of like trying to explore?
No, officer.
My mom told me, like, Drew, don't you talk about
Don't
this
you
stuff.
do that. Okay, I will say this. My brain, I've worked very hard on it. A lot of therapy, a lot of classes.
Therapy.
Oh, yeah.
Right on.
And I don't want to change my brain chemistry radically in a bad way.
Wow.
But I wouldn't be nervous about doing that. You know, I think that there's
You'd be just fine.
Sure, hopefully. I just like, my problem is it's not like a socialized sort of process, right? So like you can go to Colorado, you can figure out what kind of strain of weed you like, you can do all that shit. It's legal, it's regulated. From what, extent our humanity has an ability to like regulate these things to make sure you're getting a safe product.
Sure.
That's great. I don't put shit in my body. I don't know where it comes from.
Yeah, it's not there yet. It's not even close to being there right now.
Right. So it's like, I'm not opposed to ayahuasca. I'm not opposed to magic mushrooms. I'm not opposed to LSD. It requires a very strong, trusting relationship with the source.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can really have that right now.
Yeah.
Not in Georgia, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, like in the music biz, like you can know people that are into that have, done, that you trust, who haven't completely fried their brains yet, perhaps. But that's my main beef is it's like, if I know it's a safe thing to put in your, system, then sure. But you don't. You really don't. I had a bandmate who died of fentanyl. I had a bandmate who died, overdosed.
Damn, man.
Yeah. Great guitar player, too. Tragic. 21, 22.
Yeah. Well, thankfully there's no fentanyl and stuff. It's not like a snorting kind of thing. With Molly it is, but
sure. Yeah. I'm not.
But I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Just in terms of overall, generally you can't trust where it's from, which is fentanyl.
There's no
you can't really test it.
There's no like, yeah. Well, there are tests. There are fentanyl tests and that sort of thing, but it's more of just like what are you getting? Where did it come from?
Right. Yeah.
That sort of thing. That is really the main deterrent than it is like the idea of doing the drug itself.
Have you learned a lot from therapy?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it expensive?
It can be. Nucci Space is a beautiful place. You know the story of Nucci Phillips and what that place is all about?
They started that place because like that was his dream, like to start a place like that or something like that, right? Because he died, right? And
he committed suicide.
Yeah.
And his parents started a place.
Right.
He was a musician, and it's a resource center for musicians. So that's why you can rent gear from there. You have a safe place to practice, get a cup of coffee, and they also source counseling. Okay. And if you can't afford it, they help you figure that out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I would want to do therapy just to test it out, just to see what it would be like. Because like there's pieces of me that feel like a low level like depression sometimes. There's pieces of me that feel like low level anxiety. But there's remedies for all of that. Just like compassion is like a beautiful social anxiety remedy.
But showing it towards others?
Yeah. Feeling it, like feeling the way that you feel right now. Just like interested in that and like trying to feel that way. And then whatever I might ask you would be something that you would want to answer kind of thing. I don't know, just something like that.
Well, I just mean like you're talking about compassion, and I just mean the context in which you're saying that. Like, are you talking about compassion towards others or compassion towards yourself?
Oh,
that's
definitely a combination of both.
Yeah.
First yourself, and then secondly with people. I have a little bit of a practice right now, like where I'm like before my like little nap time, I like do this like like kind of self-compassion thing, and then
I'm sorry, the meters caught my eye.
Yeah, the meters caught your eye.
Like,
yeah. Yeah, it's like more like outward compassion, more like others.
Yeah. Well, the way I look at therapy is one of those things. It's like, for some reason, I think some people still have like a stigma towards it. I think some people are like, oh, you must be crazy, or like, oh, like there's something wrong with you or whatever.
Oh, I don't need therapy.
Yeah, I don't need that.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that ain't me. Like, I don't need that. Like, it's all good.
That's what it is for me.
But to me, you're just looking at the problem the wrong way. It's just like, can I feel better? Can I enjoy my life more? Can I get more out of it?
That's what I want.
Yeah.
That's more. That feeling is more than the No, it's not for me.
Yeah,
It's way more.
And I think it's embedded with ego and pride and all of these things that are like, machismo bullshit of like, I'm perfect, I'm fine, like whatever, or I'm not perfect, but whatever. And it's like, no, man. I mean, there's a war going on. There's a climate crisis we're all living through. We all just endured 2 years of a isolating, traumatic pandemic where we all lost loved ones. And if you didn't, then who are you? And you need more loved ones.
Do you feel like the therapy is sort of? Do you feel like they give you their perspective of what they think your problem is, or do you feel like they give you a solid like, kind of thing?
The therapist I've seen, that I still see, is very skilled, and it's not always about what they think any kind of problem is that what their job is more or less to pull up a mirror for you and help you ask insightful questions of yourself and to help you find your own way to the answers. It's not like somebody could just tell you, hey, Drew, if you stop wearing white shoes, you'll feel better.
Yeah.
That's not going to do you any good.
Nah, I'm going to keep wearing my white shoes.
Or you'll take them off and you'll feel the same.
Yeah.
And it's like, if whatever I decide your problem is, that may not be what the problem actually is.
Right.
I mean, that's flawed in itself because it's assuming you have a problem, which is a flawed way of viewing things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you just sort through what you're feeling and what you're thinking, what you're doing, and honestly, it's just somebody to talk shit out with. But again, not all therapists are created equal. I've had some bad therapists.
Yeah.
That's a big part of the process.
You've gone through a few.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So you've kind of like been like, I don't like this person that much. I'm gonna move on. Different reasons.
Different circumstances.
How long have you been with your current one?
Let's see. It was probably November of 18, so into 20, into 21.
November 19?
Yeah, so 2.5 years.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
You have a solid relationship with someone. Do you go
We're
very
friends.
often?
We're friends as well.
Do you go like really often? Do you?
It's kind of sporadic. So like, my schedule is obviously kind of.
Yeah. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, but I don't know. At least maybe once a month if I'm in the country or in the state.
Oh, this person in a different state?
No, this person's in Georgia.
Okay.
I just travel.
Sure.
Try to travel at least.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
So wait. All right. Last question about the therapist. Do you talk to them when you have a problem, or do you talk to them when you feel like you just need some recalibration? Is there like a specific thing that triggers you to talk to them?
What's funny, man, is I always have problems.
Mm-hmm.
I always need calibration. I think that it's the style of life that I choose to lead that is like, takes me interesting places, introduces me to interesting people, lands me in interesting situations. I'm not saying I blame anybody else for it. I blame myself for it. But, I find myself asking, it's like, does this happen to everybody? So, no, I haven't found myself ever being in like very much of like a moment of crisis and being like, hey, like console me or whatever. Okay. I have a lot of really good friends. I'm very blessed. I kind of measure myself in a lot of ways by my friends.
Yeah.
Because, I have a lot of really great friends.
Yeah.
And,
you're a great person, huh?
I try to be, man. I try.
You're a good guy, man. You're a good guy. I really like your vibe.
Thanks, man.
Very calm, very collected, very like focused on the thing that you want to do, but also very witty and very seem to be quite centered.
I thank you. That's very.
It seems like you've been through a lot, like psychologically too. Like you've worked through a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
Like you used to be. It seems like you were a very different person a few years ago.
Yeah, totally. I've been through it, man. I've been through the ringer. you know, I feel like I've lived a complete life, at least, if not more.
Yeah.
So I think that in itself is really rad. And I'm not saying I don't have more ambitions or things I want to do, or, you know, like those sorts of things. I just like, I feel fulfilled, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever ask yourself, like, to see if you actually do feel fulfilled? Do you ever ask yourself, this is what Steve Jobs used to do. He used to look in the mirror and go, if I die in a week, am I doing what I want to do? Am I doing the thing?
Yeah, I think my version of that, which again I've honed in on through my, you know, commitment to bettering myself, and a part of that is having a therapist. Or seeing one if I ever feel like I need one. It's kind of, it is one of those things where like I, you know, make appointments whenever I feel like it. It's not like structured. I'll just kind of say like, hey, let's set a date, talk through some stuff, do some healing, do some EMDR or some, you know, some whatever. But one of the things that is interesting is like your idea of success. So if you have an idea of like what version of your version of success looks like what does the successful version of me look like? And I had this kind of,
what is that? Yeah, what is the successful version?
Super warped, like fucking like ripped as shit, tattooed from the neck to the fucking wrist, and like getting off a private jet, flying to fucking Cabo, you know, like, you know, maybe, you know, like having a lot of money and this, that, the other, and whatever, you know, fame and whatever, you know, like why does my version of success look like that? Where did that come from?
Is that what it looks like?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think so. It's more of like, okay, what is the inner self? What is the inner child? What are these things? Like, what parts of me? What do I want for myself? What am I really fulfilling that potential?
Yeah.
And am I being that person day to day, moment to moment? And am I doing the things that, you know, will take me from where I am to where I see myself being?
Yeah.
Yeah. And being that person.
Yeah.
Moment to moment. And I don't know if financially I'm ever going to be where I would like to be as far as, you know, spending money like no tomorrow, or, you know, eating, you know, 5-class meals and drinking fine wines and seeing every corner of the world. I would love to do all of that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever get there financially, but I know that anytime I see somebody, I treat them with respect. I know that when I meet a new person, I treat them with kindness and love, and I've made enough mistakes of ever being angry or unkind to people that I know I'll never do it again.
Yeah.
And
right on.
That's
pretty successful right there.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. I try, and I'm not perfect on that front either.
Sure.
But I try to always lead with love.
I'm not either.
No.
At all.
But it really reveals more about you than anything else, right?
Yeah.
If you're a person who lifts others up, then you're like, oh yeah, great, cool. If you're a person who puts others down, it's like, that really says a lot more about you than it does anybody else.
Everything you do says things about you, not anyone else. Like, there's this piece of me recently that acquired blame for others. And it's been like 2 years I've been doing this thing. And it's like, it's really not anyone else. It's really all you. It's all inside you. It's all like a thing I don't like about myself that is like, I'm saying the reason that I'm doing this is because of others. And it's really just me, you know? So that's a constant thing inside my mind right now.
The buck stops somewhere.
Yeah.
The buck stops with you.
Yeah.
Always. It's
Always.
like, if something goes wrong, there's no one to blame but yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I put my trust into the wrong people, or I didn't have oversight in such a way that I needed, or I overlooked this aspect, or yada yada. If you blame other people for your failures, then it's like you're not learning what you could.
Yeah. You're putting your finish line way shorter than what it could be. I have this thing. I was talking to my mom today about. I was talking about this time in my life where I was like going to sleep at 9 and waking up before the sunrise and going for a run, and I was traveling around the States, and I was just dialed.
That sounds awesome.
And not drinking, not doing drugs, doing nothing. And I was the happiest I ever was. And I remember a specific time when I went back and saw my family after doing this for a long period of time. And the amount of joy and compassion that I felt, just, you know how when you, like during a meditation of like, you know, visualize your mind as vast as the sky kind of deal.
Sure.
Like anything that anybody else that arose, I had an elating thought, like an alleviating sort of like relieving idea about a way to go about either conversating or just communicating or just being with something that someone else says. Mm-hmm. And it's like there's so many pieces of, like, I know how to get back to that, you know, I know how to get back to there. But it seems like, it also seems like there's this weird thing of music is now, you know, it's kind of a late night deal, you know.
It is.
Which is unfortunate sometimes. But
yeah, it is.
But yeah, man, it's like I like constantly relating myself back to that past me and how good I was then. Yeah. And then, you know, it's like that's still there inside me and just takes a little tap into, you know.
Yeah. Well, it takes sacrifice too, right? Because in order to be somewhere else, you can't be here. In order for me to be off, you know, in my van or visiting wherever, it keeps me from being here, making records, playing bands. In order for me to be in Nashville challenging myself, it requires me to not be in Athens, you know, doing what I know I can.
Yeah.
But the other thing too is I think people idolize things. So it's like you talk about, you know, you were going to bed early, waking up early, exercising, relatively sober, traveling. Those are all really great things.
Like dead sober.
Yeah, worth idolizing.
Long time.
Worth idolizing. I just would caution people of thinking like, oh, if I had this one thing, it would solve everything. Yeah. Because it's like, okay, if I headline the 40 Watt Club, I'll be happy. If I headline the Georgia Theater main stage, I'll be happy. Yeah. If I build a van and travel across the country, I'll be happy. Yeah. If I travel to Europe and see, you know, most of the beautiful places over there, I'll be happy. You're still going to be you wherever you go.
Wherever you go, there you are.
Wherever you go, there you are. Yeah. So I think that those are beautiful. I mean, I think it's just really difficult for me to define myself because
What about this level of like optimization though? It's like if you're fully optimized in a state that you know you're fully optimized in, it's not like a happy or not. But maybe if you just believe that you're fully optimized in the state that you are in now, given your fulfillment level with everything that you're doing inside of that, you don't have to sacrifice the things that make you fulfilled so that you can be optimized mentally, kind of deal. If you just believe that optimism, right now I'm optimized. Like I'm low sleep last night, you know, all the other BS, whatever, doesn't matter. I'm fully optimized right now. You believe that. Your mind has this way of saying, it's true. It's true. You know?
It's true. That's hilarious.
Right?
No, yeah, I hear what you're saying. It's like
it's a very like booty sort of trying to relate that with a business book.
Yeah, I think it's like you know, being able to be present, being able to be you know, effective and show up, you know. That's what it comes down to. And if you feel drained, if you feel like you're like slacking if you're not feeling like you're fully there. You're not fully like capitalizing on your opportunities. You go to the bar and you're like, oh, I'm afraid to talk to anybody because of this, that, the other.
Yeah.
You go to a jam, you don't play, you have the opportunity to write a song with somebody and you're too scared to, those sorts of things. I think it's like overcoming those anxieties, and overcoming the anxieties is what allows your life to really hit, and it really allows your life to really that's when you get the chance to lead, because then you can lead with love. You're like, yeah, man, like I'm flawed, you're flawed, but you're great.
Yeah.
So that's what I don't know, but you're not going to avoid struggle. You're not going to avoid the grind. You're not going to avoid suffering. You're not going to avoid sadness. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to cry. You're supposed to 100%. Feel pain. You have to.
You have to. That's how you grow.
That's how you grow.
It's almost like presence. Presence is the most valuable verb behind loving. Right? It seems like
witnessing, presence is just being present for what someone needs to say, being present for what someone's going through, just hearing them and saying, I hear you, I see you. Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it seems like those two coupled together is a superpower too.
Yeah,
it's like when you try and you do all these things to try, it seems like it's for nothing. You try and it's like you're trying, and then people see that you're trying. You know that you're trying, so it's just like this like. But when you're trying, you're thinking about how you need to try. That's sort of like a thought spiral that's like kind of. It's not like a downward or anxiety, depression. It's sort of just like a.
Yeah, but like. I mean, I don't know if there's a particular context you're talking about, but at least with music, it's like fake it till you make it. If you're nervous, I'm not going to tell you I'm nervous. I'm just going to break through it.
Gotcha.
You might be able to tell, but I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah. If you're on stage.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That the idea of saying that you're nervous on stage, no.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
No. Unless it's as a joke.
Yeah.
I've done that, I think.
I interviewed Daniel Donato. Do you know who that is?
Mm-mm.
He's awesome. But I was like, dude, you were on my dream list of podcast guests, and I'm extremely nervous. And I said that, and it alleviated. He was like, cool, because I'm kind of nervous too.
Sure.
So like it brought him to this level of like I'm able to speak to him this way now, because now we're both in this sort of like relaxed state of
which I mean that's great, it worked out that way. I feel like sometimes
but we weren't on stage.
But I mean this is almost worse, but
you think so?
Can be, I mean once you hit upload or whatever, actually no, you don't even have to hit upload. I mean my phone is recording me in my pocket.
Oh really?
And studying me all the time. Oh yeah.
Oh okay. Yeah.
The machines are going to kill us.
I was about to say, are you recording yourself? No, you're going to go listen back to it.
I'm just saying, like artificial intelligence, like super intelligent machines, like they're that's part of what we're all trying to cope with. But that's good. It had that effect of like leveling the playing field, because sometimes if you like idolize somebody too much, then they're like, okay, this is weird.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah,
if you idolizing is a dangerous game in itself.
Sure. No, it is. Yeah. But there's a few friends that I've met and idolized because they're so talented and so wise and are so successful that it's like, oh my God, if I could just be like you.
You are like them though.
To you maybe.
You are like them in the way that you are around them too. You gather their attributes being around them. You are more like them being with them.
Yeah, no, that's very, very true. It's very wise. There was a thing that I went through maybe sometime in the last 12 months. I was talking to my mom. I'm very close to my mom. I love my mom a whole lot.
Me too.
Yeah.
Love your mama.
There's nothing like that. But anyways, I was like having this moment. I was like, this person's like starting a business, moving to LA. This person's making like, like however many figures with their art, and this person's on tour, and this person's. All my friends are just crushing it, killing it. And what the hell am I doing? And then she was just like, they're your friends because they're the ones you see yourself associating with.
Yeah.
If you wanted to find people that weren't doing anything, you could.
Yeah. 100%. You can't hanging out with people that aren't doing anything is easy to find.
Yeah.
But you want to be like those guys. So
yeah,
hang out with those guys.
Yeah, and that's an art within itself of having ambition versus like, doing some good life living,
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Ambition versus like ambition/desire versus presence and love and feeling the moment.
Yes.
Because desire means suffering and ambition means desire. Ambition means you feel like you have the energy to get to the point to whatever you desire, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's like what you envision your life being. Yeah. It's like, I could see this. I could do this. I could be this.
I could be this.
Yeah, and then it's about what it separates is do you make the sacrifices in the short term that get you to long term where you want to be? Like, are you one of those people that's like, I'm going to build my empire till I'm 30 or 35 or 40 or whatever? Sacrifice the short term things to get to long term where you really want to be.
You know what's crazy?
What?
Is it's always sacrificing the short term.
Yeah.
You're always living right now.
Delayed gratification.
That's it.
Yeah.
You're always living right now. You always have to sacrifice the short term for the long term. Always. And whatever and the short term can be, I want to sacrifice the long term for the short term right now because the short term is going to pay off in other ways than the long term. Like, I'm going to smoke this cigarette right now because I'm hanging out with this person and we're going to have a better relationship now than we will. Well, we'll have a better relationship in the future than we will now, but my body might suffer a little more in the future. Yeah. So
it's trade-offs. And the other thing that throws that whole equation into, fucking chaos is the chaotic state in which the world exists. So it seems like Putin's getting his ass kicked.
You were in Romania.
Yeah.
Which is just west of Ukraine.
Yeah, it's Romania, Moldova, Ukraine.
Yeah.
It's all right there. But it was super chill. It wasn't worried. Like Putin was occupying that territory anyways. It was funny because like I thought he was gonna have a cakewalk because like there were Russian guys everywhere. But anyways.
In Ukraine?
In Ukraine, yeah.
You went to Ukraine too?
I did not go to Ukraine, but I was on the border multiple times.
Gotcha.
Anyways, it seemed like it's surprising. I think that the way Putin did it was like all wrong from Putin's perspective. Not that I'm like rooting for Putin. That's funny.
If I was Putin, I'd do it different.
Rooting for Putin, no. I'm just saying it's Putin, like it's Putin's funny. Putin, it's funny the way he did it because he really galvanized the Ukrainian state and the world around it. So it's kind of fucked. But anyways, it seems like Putin's getting his ass kicked, which is awesome. The troops are incompetent, drunk, not trained well enough, and then he's going into the reserves, which are actually even worse. Like the more better trained troops are the ones he sent in the first place. So it seems like the best case scenario is that he gets overthrown. But okay, but even ignoring all of that, ignoring like test shots and nuclear war scares and all that stuff, that kind of way the world's ending, we're all enduring a climate crisis. Mm-hmm. That's coming. That's going to get worse. There are already climate refugees. And then on top of that, what nobody talks about is like we're actively trying and searching for artificial intelligence and quantum computing and qubits and whatnot. And I know I sound like a conspiracy theorist again, but we are either going to build a super intelligent machine in the next 20 years, probably 10 or 15, or we won't. Meaning if we don't, if we won't, if we don't,
we'll be destroyed.
We'll have destroyed ourselves in the process of trying to do it. If we do it, it'll be sometime in the 2030s or 2040, and we'll build a super intelligent machine, in which case it will take over. So the world is going to end in the next 20 years.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Next 20 years.
So it's like, how do you budget that against how you want to live your life now? Right?
Right.
And on top of all of that, and I hope that I'm wrong. I hope we build and invent some way to suck carbon out of the atmosphere.
I think you're a little wrong.
I hope so.
But only because that I think that...
And this may be some bourbon talk.
It could be.
But I have strong convictions in this.
Yeah. You do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and the pandemics. There will be more.
Yeah. With Putin, I think he's going to end up probably taking Ukraine over time.
I think he gets overthrown.
I think he gets overthrown too.
I hope.
The
fucker's crazy though.
Probably he's crazy, man. He's so like power hungry too. He's been in that position for a long time.
I think he's. I mean, and I'm paraphrasing a Times article. So it's not my own original thought, but I read this piece that was saying basically like he's seen the West, aka us, going to Saudi Arabia, going to Afghanistan, going to Iraq, do what the fuck we want, fuck it up, leave.
That's true.
And it's like he's like, all right, if y'all can do that, I can do that.
That's true. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that makes us the bad guys or makes him a good guy, nothing like that. It's just like, it's just a thought of like, hey, if you're going to do this, like, I'm going to do this.
Oh, man. Yeah. Because bad guys, good guy deal is like, there's a spectrum between there that there's a lot of different intentions involved too.
It's perspective.
But he's also like, there's a bit of a rubric now for taking and leaving kind of thing.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he's killing people right now. I'm not at all condoning what he's doing. It's horrible.
No.
It's horrible.
No. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. And how do you get your news from like New York Times, like a lot of different places? Like, what do you?
New York Times, Washington Post, NBC Nightly News. Those are my big ones.
Okay. There's one cool one that called. I only get my from one place, but hear me out. Okay, so it's called Breaking Points, and it's a guy on the right. Mm-hmm. They're kind of like centrists, mm-hmm. but like if this is the spectrum of far left and far right, there's a gal that exists right here. Like if this is the center, there's a gal that exists right here, and there's a dude that exists right here. Mm-hmm. And they talk about different stuff, and it's a good show because they give both their perspectives on it.
I think that's honestly the best kind of show you can have. Yeah. Is people that are moderately left and moderately right, and have the ability to empathize and engage in such a way that's like, okay, what do we have in common? What's a great place to start on what we agree on, and how do we actually do something productive with it?
Yeah.
But it's incredibly difficult because, especially in America, so many of the systems are broken. Medical systems fucked. Electoral systems fucked. Tax systems fucked.
Yeah.
It's all kind of just broken.
Yeah.
Truly broken. Welfare system. I mean, the homeless people. I mean, it's like.
Hey, I'm curious about this other thing real quick.
Go ahead.
So I'm not versed on any of this stuff, but I want to ask you this question because it just popped into my mind. I'm curious. It's off topic.
Cool.
It's about like your life, and like, are you totally making money from just like recording and doing all that stuff?
I am all music.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby.
Yes.
Point of pride, actually.
Love it.
I always, I'm very conscious of when I do something that's outside the music biz. I'm in the music biz.
Yes.
Music producer. I'm a professional music producer and performer. And I have made sacrifices in order to make that a reality. And I love it. I get to do dope shit with the coolest people ever. And that's what keeps me in it.
Sick, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Let's end this, dude.
Yeah, I felt that. I was like, yeah.
Good to have you, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Buddy. Love you, man. I love having you here. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, man. I wanted to do this podcast because I know that there wasn't, I felt that there wasn't like a stern time limit.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be able to talk. And I think the podcast helps you, like, just no matter what, you just feel like somebody's listening.
Yeah.
And
I'm listening.
No,
Sure.
no, yeah, I didn't mean to bypass that at all.
No,
it's because you're a very ethereal kind of guy, so I didn't know exactly what we were gonna get into, but
Cool.
it felt really good.
Yeah, yeah. Many subjects, you know.
And we could have spent honestly the whole time talking about any of them.
Yeah, where can people find you on like socials and stuff?
Wow. Oh gosh. Just fucking. It's a struggle. Okay, so Instagram is at Jeff A. Vernon. Shoot me an email at jeffreyallenvernon@gmail.com. JEFFREYALANVERNON gmail.com. My website's jeffreyavernon.com. And check out Convince the Kid, my band. If you have any kind of audio needs or questions, hit me up. If you have any kind of video project, like a music video or a live concert you want to record, or anything, a movie that you need scored or anything like that, I've done that kind of work, hit me up. And frankly, hit me up about any creative endeavor that you have, because I would love to hear about what you're doing, and I could direct you to some people that could help you get it done. I think, to quote a really good movie called Layer Cake, the art of good business is being a good middleman. So I'll try to be that.
Cheers, boss.
Cheers, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, absolutely.